friends, hope you all are doing well and staying safe. Welcome back to yet another video of the Football Mania. And if you are an Arsenal fan, you should at least be happy for one reason. The reason why I say this is because Tottenham Hotspur, kind of rivals in North London, have just been humiliated, embarrassed, and demolished by Newcastle United at St James's Park in the race to see who will finish in the top four of the English Premier League. And when I say annihilation, it was an absolute disaster class for Tottenham Hotspur and Christian Stellini, who was the man in charge after Antonio Conte's, politics with the club. And I expected some kind of fight by the Spurs team, which is looking devoid of ideas. Well, they know what is at stake. A place in the Champions League spot for next season is at stake, and you would expect Tottenham Hotspur to be really proactive when it comes to having possession of the ball and creating those chances in the counter attack, especially with the likes of Dejan Kulusevski, Harry Kane, and Heung-min Son. And what did Tottenham do? Right since the first minute, they were very, very regressive. They did not have possession of the ball and they did not press Newcastle United higher up the pitch. And on the other hand, Newcastle United went off to a flying start. Within no time, Joelinton put them into the lead. Jacob Murphy was on target, and within a space of 20 minutes, it became 5-0 in favor of Newcastle United. Alexander Isak with a brace, Jacob Murphy with a brace, and we also had Joelinton in the score sheet. It was an absolute humiliation in the first 20 minutes, and if you just look at Tottenham's midfield, it was completely open. There was no communication, and it looked completely disjointed at times. And what did Newcastle United do? They did not even have to think where the next pass would go. It was as simple as that. There were too many open spaces. There were too many, voids in the midfield, and that led to Newcastle United exploiting the back line, and within no time it was final. Those 25 minutes, in my opinion, were the worst in football history in the Premier League for Tottenham Hotspur, and I expect Daniel Levy take some action, and Christian Stellini obviously has to take responsibility for those first 25 minutes, which was absolutely disaster class for Tottenham Hotspur. Take nothing away from Newcastle United. This team under Eddie Howe has impressed one and all so much that they are now in with a shout for the Champions League places. They are currently third in the table, having played one game additional than Manchester United. They are on 59 points, and I would expect Manchester United also to finish in the top four. If we talk about Tottenham, well, Harry Kane wants to become a legend at the club apparently, and for the kind of talent that this player has, it is an absolute joke that he's wasting all his talent in such a mediocre club. And I did expect Harry Kane to leave last summer itself, but that did not work out. There were too many options. Bayern Munich came calling, PSG came calling, and even Real Madrid came calling. But what did Harry Kane do? He stuck to his loyal club, Tottenham Hotspur, which never wins a single trophy. The last time out they won a trophy was, I think, back in 1965. And if this is the kind of mentality which this club has, I'm sure for the next 50 or 100 years they would not win a single piece of silverware. And it all goes down into the values of the club, the ethos of the club, and the kind of mindset that the club has. The ambitions of the club are every season to just finish in the top four and become an also ran. They're not highly ambitious like Liverpool or a Manchester City who just want to go into those big competitions, win the silverware, and that elite level mentality is just lacking from back to front. After the match, Hugo Lloris comes out and criticizes the management, the players itself. They took responsibility, and in the end, it was a 6-1 humiliation. The second half was as if Newcastle United were just having a stroll in the park. They already knew that in the first half they had done enough damage in order to overpower Tottenham Hotspur. Well, it was 6-1. Harry Kane got a consolation goal, but that did not matter in the context of the match's outcome. And I expect Tottenham Hotspur to still finish fifth because they are still on 53 points, having played 31 games, and I expect a host of changes going into the remainder of the season. In terms of the back line, there was no communication between Christian Romero and Eric Dyer. They were looking all over the place. Here, Emil Højbjerg was kind of triggering that press, but it did not result in any outcome. Because if you are triggering the press, you require your supporting players to compensate for your position and ensure that they are blocking the passing lines. And that never happened in this case. Christian Stellini took responsibility. He blamed himself. The tactics were completely open. There is no communication whatsoever. And if you are playing at the professional level, it is like schoolboy errors. The kind of goals which they conceded could have been avoided. Hugo Lloris is one of those error-prone goalkeepers which I have never rated highly. Yes, he might be the captain of the French national team. We just won the World Cup in 2018. However, Hugo Lloris is a player who is prone to make mistakes. And if you have those many mistakes in your artillery, then obviously you would always backfire. And this is what is happening with Tottenham Hotspur. This is a club which is looking backwards and not forward. And everyone from top to bottom is completely rotten, finished. And that is the kind of mentality which this club has been kind of breeding for the last 5 or 10 years. And if Daniel Levy does not make kind of proactive decision in order to go into the season and bring in a coach like Julian Nagelsmann, things would be difficult. They are looking for a new head coach, but over the summer they would be assessing their options. At the moment, Christian Stellini is kind of managing the situation, but you would say that he does not have enough experience to manage the first team of any club. However, having said that, Tottenham Hotspur are still fifth, and we can expect some kind of resurgence if Harry Kane and Heung-min Son can develop that lethal partnership which was so effective for them in previous seasons. So, guys, credit to Newcastle United. They deserve 3 points completely. It was an annihilation. 6-1 is a tennis score line, and that got reflected on the football pitch at St. James's Park. Especially, I would like to know from you guys, who was your man of the match? Would it be Alexander Isak? Would it be Jacob Murphy? Would it be the other players who were there in the midfield? There were so many people who did well. Joe Willock comes into my mind, and I expect Newcastle United with this solid performance to finish in the top four of the Premier League table. So, guys, please let me know who was your man of the match. What are your final predictions in the top four race? Who would finish in the Champions League spots for next season? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you like this video, please do me a favor, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, because I'll be coming up with lots of content. There's loads of football to follow in the season, and till the end of the Champions League, I'll be covering most of the matches. So please stay tuned, and until next time, stay safe and take care.